Logan Paul just destroyed what's left of his image by Atozy.
I suggest you use the money you got from pumping your Patreon to hire a good lawyer. You're gonna need it.
Oh boy, this might be the dumbest thing Logan Paul's done since his force incident for his public perception.
And I promise to be better.
Well, this story starts in 2021. We were definitely in a cryptomania phase, and Logan Paul, he decided to try to capitalize off. Fun fact, this isn't his first time being associated with a crypto project, as before, there was a coin called Dink Doink.
What up, Dink Doink Telegram? Now I know what you're thinking. Logan, what the f you doing here? I'm doing the same thing as you. Holding my doink. That's what I'm doing. This is a
bro, gotta hodl crystal hands, those diamond hands to the moon. Oh man, I was following all of that crypto stuff. Kira TV was an absolute just hoot when this was a thing. Dude, what was it? It wasn't Crypto Zoo. It was Cryptoland. Cryptoland, Shane Isaac's Earth 2. Oh man, dude. Oh, I kind of miss it. Kind of miss this.
point I believe in.
But I guess we just don't talk about that project anymore. So anyway, the new project, Crypto Zoo, was Pokemon meets NFTs. So a bunch of people are like, oh wow, Logan Paul, he's promoting a crypto project. This is probably going to be big as he has a massive platform. He has massive reach. And what did they get? Whatever this is. Something that looks like Adobe stock footage edited by AI.
Yeah. It's great.
How is this possible? Crypto Zoo, ladies and gentlemen. And not too long after, it seemed like Logan distanced himself publicly from the project. Now, with hindsight, since we found out there was a whole plethora of problems with the project, so it kind of makes sense why he stepped away. But we didn't.
If you're curious as to this, as to the whole backup on this, and I'm sure he'll get into this, Coffeezilla has an excellent 3-part series. I would have reacted to it, but Coffeezilla has asked to not have videos reacted to in their entirety. Like, splitting up is kind of fine, right? But out of respect, I don't do it. I cannot recommend it enough, though. Coffeezilla did an absolute banger of a trilogy with it.
Know of any of this until the creator Coffeezilla made a multi-part documentary on Logan Paul's Crypto Zoo shenanigans titled Investigating Logan Paul's Biggest Scam. The second video was titled The Biggest Fraud in Logan Paul's Scam, and the third video was Ending Logan Paul's Biggest Scam. TLDR of the series, Crypto Zoo was a massive show of a project with no accountability from Logan Paul, even though he was a founder of the project and promoted it directly to his fans. Definitely a disaster for Logan Paul, but he did this kind of to himself. And there has been plenty of time to correct his mistakes before Coffee made his videos.
Yep.
There was over a year between the project and Coffee's video. But instead of correcting his mistakes, he went on the offense against Coffeezilla, and that video has since been deleted. But here are some key moments from my commentary video on it when all this happened back in January of 2023.
I watched a 3-part series called Investigating Logan Paul's Biggest Scam, and like many on this platform, you have successfully used my name for views and money.
And that's
I remember watching that original video. Do you remember that in that video he totally like brought somebody's expunged record up to, it was an expunged record, like it was expunged for all intents and purposes, right? Like, should not have been on the record. He just shows that document in the video, and I would have speculated that that's why he brought the video down, because that would lead to legal problems rather than, you know, just saying, hey, I'm going to sue Coffeezilla, right? It's wild to think that even if you say you were a teenager, right? Say you did something wrong as a teenager, or it was something for something that's like legally this shouldn't matter. That was wild.
From a guy who used a dead body for views. If you make a project and your audience loses millions of dollars combined from it, people are going to talk about it. Yeah. That's how the internet works.
Yeah. Coffee, you interviewed the developer who stole the game code, fled to Switzerland, and held it hostage for $1 million. Well, his name is Zach Kelling. Surely, as the internet detective that you proclaim to be, you would know that he spent time in prison for multiple felonies, one for aggravated robbery, armed robbery at a liquor store, and the other for, surprise, obstructing the legal process.
I think this was the expunged record.
I can see why you kept him anonymous.
But you decided to work with him and promote this project to your audience. It doesn't matter who he is. He's just interviewing the person who worked with you. Also, why didn't Logan Paul talk about this publicly? Him doing that would definitely put a lot of pressure on those guys.
Wouldn't someone with journalistic integrity know their credible source had not only an agenda, but a fondness for orange jumpsuits?
This one, it was the orange jumpsuit guy, which is wild.
Wouldn't someone who cares about their reputation not build an entire company with someone like this, then?
And I know what you're thinking. What type of idiot would work with an unsavory individual like Zach Kelling? I guess that's what I get for trusting the team that I relied on to vet and manage Eddie's hiring process, who who has turned out to be a professional con man that I have since learned fooled billionaires, the Mormon Church, the owner of the New York Yankees, and now me.
Okay, so an apology would be fitting here. You just had to say something like this.
I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment.
But he didn't. Instead, he doubled down.
Even after 12 months of work, you've still managed to overlook one crucial piece of information. See, even though I've said it's coming so many times, you've assumed that CryptoZoo isn't being made. Who are you to decide when the development timeline ends?
Didn't somebody as a shitpost like actually make like not CryptoZoo? Like just some random dev just coded it like in like a day or something like that. Someone's gonna have to like cite the actual project. But yeah, some random is just like, wow, this CryptoZoo thing, it's not coming out. I'm just gonna make it. They just made like not CryptoZoo. Legally distinct A game. Oh, absolute legend.
I wonder where CryptoZoo is now. Oh. They also haven't tweeted since all this went down, and Logan also announced that the game will never be completed due to regulatory hurdles. But going back to the timeline events, Logan first announced that he was suing Coffee in 2023.
Got everything stolen from me and our community, stopped promoting publicly as soon as I knew the extent of the internal issues, took all of the heat on social, and you still published a defamatory hit piece, fully knowing I was innocent, just so you could enrich yourself and your $10 million studio.
So here's the thing though, chat, to be honest. If I did something, say I were to promote, you know, Kipcoin, right? Make and coin, and all of you were out like a collective like $10 million, would you not be upset at me? Logically, would you not say, man, this Kip guy's kind of a piece of crap? God, why did we ever support him? Hey, Coffeezilla, or hey, other journalist on YouTube, you should look into this Kip guy. He's pretty sleazy, right? It goes back to the whole logic of just don't be a dick. If you're a dick, it's the F around and find out like thing. It's the chart. The more you F around, the more you find out. Like, bro, oh god, this is comedy to me.
Sharp, but deeply unethical, dangerously misleading, and illegal. I suggest you use the money you got from pumping your Patreon to hire a good lawyer. You're gonna need it.
And understandably so, Logan got a lot of flack for that. So much so that he completely 180'd and made this apology video and announced he would actually refund the CryptoZoo holders.
Coffeezilla is not a criminal. I called him. I apologized. My initial response to his series was that of fire, an ego flare, whatever it is, pride. I'm a fighter at heart, and
or just being an idiot.
I was defensive because I know I never scammed anyone with this project. I never made any money, never sold any tokens, and I only had the best intentions going in. But the fact is, the suing Coffeezilla is not going to help CryptoZoo holders, so I do need to focus my attention where it should be, which is on fans and supporters of me. You guys mean the world to me, so I'd like to announce my 3-step plan moving forward.
So he came out with this like 3-step plan to fix all of this, where step 1 was Jeff and him were going to burn all their Zoo tokens. That doesn't really do much because the token at this point was already worthless. So them taking their worthless coins out of the supply didn't do anything really. The step 2 was rewards programs for disappointed base SAG and base animal holders, and to burn their base SAG and base animal or the mint price. Here, my understanding is Logan put up about 1,000 Ethereum to essentially pay for that program. And then step 3 was to finish the game as outlined in the white paper. And that was all kumbaya until he didn't even follow through on that promise. And the game, as I stated earlier, was just never published. The website isn't even up. But he did follow through with that buyback program for the NFT mentors, but to my knowledge, there was nothing for the Zoo token holders. And that's if you agreed to not sue him. So I guess about half a year later, Coffee posted the video titled, "Logan Paul's scam isn't over." Here,
I remember when that came out. It's already been a year. Dude, how time flies.
This video, he essentially was asking for an update on the plan to fix all this, as the CryptoZoo holders were not really given what he promised. And he ended that video with this note.
This isn't worth your time. Getting publicly flogged like this every 6 months? What are we going to be doing this in a year? No. Okay? It's not worth your time. It's barely worth my time.
Yeah.
Just please pay the people back what you owe. Give them a real timeline, a real plan. And then we can all go back to pretending you've changed.
And no,
dude, that was the sickest mic drop when that came out. I remember that coming out. Oh, I was laughing.
nothing happened publicly from Logan Paul's front. So half a year later, Coffee made another follow-up video titled Logan Paul's Refund. Here is Coffee's quick recap of that video.
You're all caught up. To recap, part one, refunds. They're being used as a bargaining chip to drop a lawsuit.
Yep.
And so he never has to produce this game, which has been promised for 3 years, and he's sold tens of millions of dollars for. Part two is the zoo tokens. He's pretending they're not for a game that they definitely were for to avoid refunding people, when in fact he admits they were created to support the game. Part three is the lawsuit, where he stole my investigation, tried to pass it off as his own, but just cuts out the part where he did everything wrong and leaves out the entire year where he was solely in charge of the project. No bad actors. He could have fixed everything, but he didn't because he's cheap and doesn't want to pay anybody.
So he continues to add pressure to Logan consistently, and it seems like Logan is tired of this. Apparently, he just doesn't want to take the accountability. But this is how Coffee ended that video.
And Logan Paul is not a hero for doing this or making things right. He's a serial scammer who's offering a minority refund as a last-ditch effort to save his wallet and his reputation.
And speaking of a last-ditch effort, Logan Paul just sued Coffeezilla this past week, which is a little bit confusing because he said he wasn't going to do it, but now he did. So maybe...
What happened to... Wasn't there a lawyer from Texas that was starting to file a class action on him? This is like a year ago. I don't know where it went at this point. I thought there was some lawyer and his channel was based on like suing Logan Paul. I'm like, you know, honestly, good publicity move. That's how you get business. That's how you drum up attention. Like, damn. But I haven't even heard any updates from that. I probably just haven't looked hard enough.
He was just trying to front run the next Coffeezilla video, knowing that it's been about 6 months since Coffee's last video. You know, because he was dropping videos every 6 months and, you know, one's due in about a month. Or maybe he just wanted to guarantee another video from Coffee because now he is officially suing him. So I'm going to read, I guess, like the nature of the action, and then we'll skip to the bottom and see what Logan Paul wants out of this. So plaintiff Logan Paul, a globally recognized entertainer, athlete, and entrepreneur, brings this defamation action.
Oh, dude, work that shaft, baby. Work that shaft, legal team. Let's go.
Against defendant Steven Fendison, aka Coffeezilla, a self-described investigator journalist and internet detective with no actual journalism training or a private investigator's license, to hold him accountable for maliciously and repeatedly publishing false statements accusing Paul of operating a scam in connection with a troubled blockchain project called Cryptozy.
I love how they word it in a way that, oh, well, he's operating... Well, you're accusing Logan Paul of operating a scam that's in connection with this blockchain project, Cryptozy. Not that, you know, Logan Paul was kind of the face of it, right? Or a big face of this. Bro, dude, that legal team working that shaft, baby. Oh, it's so good.
Just like an open-ended question here. Didn't Logan admit that he was scammed in this project? So by that, wouldn't he be promoting a scam? I don't know. Starting when he released a 3-part YouTube video series on Cryptozy in December of 2022 and continuing into the present, Fendison has perpetuated the false narrative that Paul scammed and defrauded his own fans in connection with the project. Fendison has perpetuated this false narrative despite knowing it to be completely and utterly false, in order to enhance his own profile and increase his viewership and income in the process.
Wow. You have low-hanging fruit because a big creator did something stupid and has a history of being really controversial, like the Japanese forest incident. Wow. Like, you could just make a video and get 10K views or 10 million views, right? And you're just, like, reporting on someone being an idiot. That's just them being an idiot. Like, what?
Indeed, he has done so, despite of being in possession of and purposefully omitting from his series and related statements overwhelmingly objective evidence that Paul had in reality been enthusiastic about the project and deeply committed to its success.
No. See, it can't be a scam because he was into it. Like he really believed in this. You look in his little eyes, you got the little twinkle. He's so hopeful. He believed in this. So there's no way it can be a scam. Absolutely no way.
Only to be deceived by several of his project's trusted advisors who turned out to be conned. So if Logan Paul was conned and he promoted the project that he was conned in, would he have not conned his fans since he actively promoted it? I don't know. Open-ended question. It was to be a game utilizing blockchain technology in which players would be able to purchase egg non-fungible tokens that would then hatch into animal NFTs. Player would then be able to breed those animals and create unique and even rarer hybrid animals, which could earn players an in-game cryptocurrency called zoo tokens.
You know, I'm kind of glad we don't have Poke currency like Pokecoin. Like, Nintendo could have gone really ham on this, if you think about it, right? Well, I have this Charmeleon on the blockchain. Bro, you gotta, like, your IVs are linked to your spot on the blockchain. Oh, no. If you get, like, the first spot on the blockchain, you got, like, full 6 IVs. Everyone that ends on, like, 5 has 31 attack. Oh, my God, dude. Oh, dude, that's so cool, though. Oh, my God. Look, if it happens, okay, I expect my royalties from Nintendo. Please and thank you.
Based on their rarity. All of this activity would be carried out in a virtual ecosystem where animals could continue to be bred, traded, or used for mini arcade games or sold to earn more zoo tokens.
I love watching just a legal explanation of this, and it just makes me want to laugh. But to be fair, that's kind of like, hey, Kip, how do you describe Destiny? It's a game where you consistently get your dick flattened as you try to go for rolls, and the community bitches that crafted weapons make the game worse. Trying to run a raid in LFG is like CBT.
To develop the project and navigate the intricacies of the blockchain technology, of which Paul was unfamiliar, Paul assembled a team of experts, or as it turned out, individuals who falsely represented themselves as experts and spent hundreds of thousands of dollars of his own money on graphics and animation and other project-related expenses.
Ain't no way that Elephant and Butterfly was $100 grand. Ain't no goddamn way. See, here's the thing. This is where being a manager comes into play here. If I hire somebody and I'm like, damn, this video's costed $2,000. The hell you doing with it? And it's like, it's like straight up like slideshow, like PowerPoint. Okay, we're gonna have a talk here. What have you been doing the last like 2 weeks? Okay. Oh, just, you know, just going to the club each night, going skiing a little bit. You're fired. Like, what?
Although CryptoZoo was announced publicly and certain aspects of the project were rolled out in fall of 2021, Paul's vision for the game never became a reality. There were multiple reasons for the project's failure, but the most fundamental was that the team member responsible for overseeing the development of the game, Eddie Ibanez, turned out to be a charlatan who had lied to Paul and many others about his background and credentials. Ibanez. Is it Ibanez or Ibanez? I'm going to switch to Ibanez now. Ibanez continuously assured Paul that the game's development was proceeding at pace and that completion was imminent, when in reality, he had incompetently overseen the process and failed to pay his team of developers despite his assurance that he would do so.
I keep seeing all this thrown at Eddie Ibanez, and I'm not going to give the man a free pass. Why? Like, I haven't heard any lawsuits regarding him. Once again, I haven't looked into this in about a year, so maybe a lawsuit has come up or some charges were laid against him, but I don't know. I have no knowledge of this. It seemingly is just Logan Paul at this point, who hired a bunch of con men, lost a lot of money, and pissed off his fan base. Dude, I can't without laughing.
His efforts were also stymied by frustration by a blockchain and crypto advisor named Jake Greenbaum, aka Crypto King, who turned out to be more interested in trying to personally profit than in helping to create a legitimate project. Both Ibanez and Greenbaum took advantage of the hype created by Paul's affiliation with the project in order to surreptitiously sell zoo tokens for millions of dollars at the expense of those acquiring the tokens in the anticipation of actually being able to play the game. Okay, so devs were literally dumping as Logan Paul's fans were buying it. So Logan,
it was, yeah, it's funny. Like, people lost a lot of money, right? If you lost money on this, like, I feel actually really bad. God damn it, though. Like, he's an idiot.
Paul's fans, in this case, were used as exit liquidity. Allegedly, according to Logan Paul. Regrettably, despite rightfully exposing the wrongdoing of Ibanez and Greenbaum in his YouTube series, defendant Findicent understood that accusing a celebrity like Paul of perpetuating a scam would generate exponentially more clicks, views.
I mean, yeah, we literally were talking about the whole Dr. Disrespect situation and, like, how Cody Connor, right? Like, hey, do you have any sources on this, Captain? Like, you're trying to just promote your band by saying this is the reason? Like, what? Right? Like, you see how just weird accusations get clicks, right? And that the whole long and short of that is, you know, Dr. Disrespect put out an official statement, cool, case closed, I'm good, I'm out, homie. Like, this feels like this is using really interesting logic. Because, like, oh, well, he knew that it would generate clicks. Yeah. And if I did a video about, I don't know, the Marine Corps, I'm sure I'm going to generate clicks from people that are interested in the military, right? If I want to generate views on Pokemon, right? Cool. Maybe I go do a little bit like short on how like Fire Red and Leaf Green share the same engine as like Ruby Sapphire Emerald, right? Like, I get the logic, but like, that's real broad strokes.
And ultimately revenue, and would increase his own profile. Finneson therefore titled his series Investigating Logan Paul's Biggest Scam. But Logan Paul promoted this project. He was the face of this project. And he proceeded to confidently tell viewers that not only that the project was a scam, but that it was a scam conceived of and perpetuated by Paul. The 3-part series was viewed tens of millions of times. Each of the videos remain among Finneson's most popular of all time, and viewers and the public at large were captivated by the narrative of an unserious social media influencer who had supposedly used his fame to dupe his fans into investing money into a fake crypto project, while always intending to abscond with the money. But Finneson...
I love how this just paints Logan Paul as his pride has just taken an absolute hit, and he's throwing a temper tantrum and just throwing money at lawyers. That is all this reads to me.
Knew full well that Paul had never been set out to scam anyone, but to the contrary, had always intended to build a legitimate blockchain-based game for participants.
Actually, hold up. That's actually interesting. You know what could possibly set precedent for that? Games roadmaps. Because what was it? Mass Effect Andromeda had a roadmap, and there was a lawsuit over it not finishing its roadmap, and it was ruled in BioWare's favor that, well, a roadmap is not a guarantee. It's an idea. It's a, hey, we're looking at doing this, right? I wonder if that might play into this. Oh, well, he intended for it to come out all along, but you understand certain factors came up, certain, bad publicity. This was a big hit to his reputation, dealing with these con men. So, therefore, legally, he didn't have to continue with that. That's interesting if that's the angle they're going to take. I'd be very interested to know if that's the logic or not.
In the project in any way, Finneson possessed scores of contemporaneous internal text messages between Paul and his co-founders showing, for example, that Paul was adamant that the project be executed to perfection before being announced publicly. That Paul was focused on the detail of the gameplay experience, including over financial gain. That Paul was explicitly relying upon Greenbaum and Ibanez for all aspects of the game's development and implementation, including the timing and logistics of creating and trading the Zoo token liquidity pool, and that Paul was beside himself with frustration about the betrayals that prevented his vision from being realized. Yet, because they did not fit his preferred self-serving narrative, Finneson purposefully concealed all of those communications from his viewers, save for select messages that he manipulated and intentionally presented devoid of context. Although Paul considered taking legal action against Finneson at the time of his YouTube series was released at the end of 2022, he decided to instead focus his efforts on trying to make things right for those who had shared his enthusiasm for CryptoZoo, only to be left disappointed when it failed to materialize. In January of 2023, Paul announced that he would be working on a buyback program for disappointed CryptoZoo NFT holders, even though Paul had not personally received the proceeds from the sale of these NFTs or otherwise earned any money from the project whatsoever. The buyback was completed in March 2024 and resulted in Paul successfully coming out of pocket to distribute over $1 million worth of Ethereum to eligible NFT holders. Okay, so he covered the NFT holders, but not the people who bought the Zoo token. Despite his anger over Finneson's actions and massive harm that Finneson's false accusation caused his reputation, Paul was initially willing to let bygones be bygones after all. Finneson had claimed all along that CryptoZoo investigation was motivated by a desire to call attention to regular people who had purchased CryptoZoo NFTs only to see their investment become worthless. Paul naively believed that his commitment to the buyback program would help him find common ground with Finneson in that regard. But
this just makes me wonder if Logan Paul is trying to bully Coffeezilla with legal fees and stuff. This makes me wonder if we're just gonna have some really cool people, like a bunch of people donating small amounts and a few few people donating some really big amounts, just to like really get Coffeezilla some like world-class lawyers, and not only just completely dismiss this, but also like fire back and sue Logan Paul for like crap tons of money. That'd be really funny. Like, that would be like peak entertainment. That would be a huge blow to his ego.
Paul misjudged Finneson's motives. Even after Paul announced the buyback, Finneson simply could not help himself from dipping back into the well that had proven so effective in earning him viewers' attention and revenue. Both.
Wow, I react to a shoe on head video. It gets like 5K views. I react to another shoe on head video. People like it. Hot damn, what a concept.
From his YouTube earnings, as well as an associate Patreon account that had to be used to solicit donations from subscribers. I mean, Coffee was covering the disaster that was Cryptozoo. Just because you did a buyback program for the people who bought the eggs doesn't mean he's going to stop covering it, because you still haven't done anything for the people who bought the token for your project that you promoted, that your co-founder also allegedly tanked by using your fans as exit liquidity. In the summer of 2023 and continuing into 2024, Finnison began publishing additional YouTube videos, which he also teased and hyped on X, formerly Twitter, in which he repeatedly
God, I hate that. Just call it Twitter. Come on, man.
claimed to the public the false allegation that Cryptozoo was a scam and a fraud conceived and perpetuated by Paul. I mean, Cryptozoo seems like a scam to me, and it was definitely promoted by Logan Paul. So I guess we'll just leave that one open to public opinion. And in those following videos he just mentioned there, Coffee kept pushing Logan for a response or like an update privately, because Logan in his original response was like, why didn't you just message me? Okay, now he's been messaging you, apparently. But instead, Logan apparently referred him to his lawyer. So he kept making these videos. Here we go. Okay, so throughout the ups and downs of his career, including the Cryptozoo disappointment, Paul has learned to believe in the importance of accountability and taking responsibility for one's actions. Paul brings this defamation suit to hold Finnison accountable for his actions and to hold him liable for the immense harm that he has caused Paul's reputation through the intentional and reckless dissemination of defamatory falsehoods.
You know what that statement reminds me of? You know how in South Park, Cartman's kind of a dick? And then he'll just like cry. He's like, and the kids, they were mean to me, and they called me fat, and it made me feel bad. Right after like Cartman like calls somebody like a slur. Oh my God, Logan Paul is actually just Cartman, allegedly. That whole back half of that paragraph, I heard in Cartman's voice.
Next, we have factual allegations here on the bottom of page 6. And here, it seems like Logan just paid his lawyer to just properly glaze him. Paul's path to becoming a globally recognized entertainer.
Oh, come on, man. Just get that finger behind there. It's all good now. You're doing it. You're doing it, legal team.
Athlete and entrepreneur can be traced to his days as a student at Ohio University. And then he just kind of goes through his whole career and how
a little bit of spit there, working it a little harder, right?
How great of a career and how great of an entrepreneur he's been, except for the small hiccup in Japan called the Tokyo Adventures, according to this lawsuit. One of the videos were set to feature Paul and his friends camping overnight in the Aokigahara forest, which has given his reputation to be a
yeah, it has a reputation. The whole situation should never have happened. I am just absolutely floored that he got away with this.
Site for sites and was rumored to be haunted. Paul's aim was to produce a spooky yet lighthearted episode of the group, exploring setting up camp and surviving the night amongst the forest's supposed ghosts.
You know what you can also go to? Idaho Penitentiary for a night. Go out to like New Jersey, like an abandoned asylum out there. You could have picked so many places, even in Japan. I'm sure you could have visited some shrines, done some stuff, go to some dilapidated shrines that you were allowed access to. Why this forest? Because it's going to generate clicks, because of the reputation that it has, and ooh, it's spooky, right? It's like how people, oh God, what is it? I have to like actually remember what this is called. It's the stupid Japanese creepypasta that's been, what is it? It's been perpetuated since the 80s. It's the Japanese city with no laws, quote unquote. Inunaki Village, the copy pasta that has never in any shape or form, as far as I'm aware, proven to have existed or to exist. Like, it's just myth, right? Like, oh, well, I'm going to go to Japan and I'm going to go try to find Inunaki and Inunaki Tunnel, right? Cool. Am I not doing that for the clicks, for the, this is, no, I think that's Kuchisake Onna. No, Inunaki Village is a supposed village in Japan that is kind of shut off from society, and that the laws of Japan don't actually apply there, and how like just these dilapidated houses are like like they're trapped, they're booby trapped. You know, people go there and they're taken away and unalive. It's a horror story, right? Like, but as far as I've come across, there's nothing that shows that this is real, that this is all just, you know, it's just spooky content, right? Like, that's why you would do something. Oh, I'm gonna go to this random forest versus, oh, he's going to Aokigahara forest. Oh, you know what that forest is, right? And you know how it generates buzz? That's all it is.
And then, you know what happens. The whole internet blows up. So he kind of just goes through that. The harsh blowback took a toll on Paul's own mental health. He's thankful that it happened, though, because it helped him become a better person. Is Dink Doink mentioned here? I don't know what his direct association with Dink Doink is, but he definitely...
We don't talk about Dink Doink anymore.
Promoted it. Okay, so he really just goes through Coffee's full career here. And then let's start here. Around the same time as Save the Kids series in July 2021, Finnison published a video titled Logan Paul's New Crypto Coin is an Embarrassment, which focused on a meme token called Dink Doink. In that video, Finnison falsely accused Paul of participating in what he characterized as a Ponzi scheme, alleging Paul promoted the token and concealed his involvement in its... There was no truth whatsoever to Finnison's allegation.
Bro, we're on like 0.66. Jesus Christ. How much did he pay these lawyers?
Bad intent. Paul's trading activity involved in the token, which was not discussed at all in the video, was limited. And although Paul was allocated Dink Doink tokens by its founder, he never sold these tokens. They sit in his digital wallet to this day. Okay.
We can actually prove that. We can actually show what coins are and where. And if you know who is assigned to the wallet, you know everything that they've done.
Hey, kudos to Logan Paul, but still, that token free-falled and he promoted it. So kudos for him not using his fans as exit liquidity, but he indirectly assisted other people to use his fans as exit liquidity. Finnison seeks to drum up viewership for his channel by promoting and publishing a series of videos about what he claimed was Logan Paul's biggest scam. So here he talks about the first video. Right off the bat, Finnison promises his audience that he would be revealing the inside story of how Logan Paul scammed victims out of millions of dollars. He claimed that his high-effort investigation was a year in the making and teased, some of you guys think you know the story, but it goes so much deeper. And of course, at the center of it, we have Logan Paul, who has abandoned this thing, leaving thousands of victims in his wake.
I wonder if that's like actually a contraction of the paragraph, the ellipses, or if that's actually in there. I don't know how legal documents work. The formatting is throwing me off.
Video then introduced CryptoZoo as Paul's brainchild and explained how the game was intended to work in concept, with participants using Zoo tokens or other cryptocurrencies to purchase egg NFTs, which they could then hatch and breed to create ever rarer hybrid animals, earning additional Zoo tokens that could then be used to purchase additional eggs or other in-game features. Finnison acknowledged that there was nothing particularly unusual, novel, or nefarious about this structure, and there are a lot of NFT games built on this model, which is called play to earn. That's true. Nevertheless, consistent with the name of the series, Finnison insinuated to his viewers that the real problem with CryptoZoo was that Paul had illicit intentions from the outset. Finnison claimed that those who bought CryptoZoo NFTs had been duped by Paul's portrayal of himself as the reformed influencer rather than a reckless clout goblin just in it for the money.
Wasn't there an entire point on... I think it's an FTC violation. If you're promoting something and you don't disclose that you were paid for it, like that's an FTC violation, right? I think crypto went into the weird area, and I think part of it was, I don't remember. He might have actually disclosed that. There's a lot. All these crypto scams just get like, man, they start to jumble in the old noggin, in the old noodle. Logan Paul seems like the kind of person, especially after Dink Doink failed, the kind of person that touches the pot because he thinks it's cool. You know, the pot that you're boiling spaghetti, he just touches the pot, goes, ow, that hurts. And he touches the pot again. And like 2 days later, he touches the pot again. Like, this is all I'm hearing from his legal team trying to explain why he did something. Like... This is actually really funny.
Continued, they thought this time is different. Logan Paul couldn't possibly scam us, right? Then the legal documents just continue to go on. Essentially what Coffeezilla said in his 3-part series, where Jake, the crypto king, bought $200,000 worth of tokens and just ended up dumping it on the viewers coming in and buying these tokens. And that Jake, the crypto king, called Ivan as a rug puller, and Ivan has apparently also sold his tokens. So it's a whole mess. And then
it's the Spider-Man meme. They're pointing at each other. I see what you're doing. No, I see what you're doing.
It's also already been said that Logan nor his manager Jeff ever sold any of the Zoo tokens they acquired on Zoo Day. Then Logan Paul goes on to say that Coffee left out a whole bunch of messages that apparently prove that he's more innocent. But Coffee clearly stated in his 3-part series that it was Jake and Ibanez who really caused the whole project to go crashing down because, you know, Jake bought $200,000 worth of Zoo token to just dump on the fans, and Ibanez didn't pay the developers. That's a recipe for disaster. By skipping down a little bit, they say that Logan Paul's NFT buyback was an enormous success. Undeterred by Finnison's new defamatory campaign, Paul pressed forward with a complex plan to conduct a buyback of CryptoZoo egg NFTs from their holders. Between January 4th and February 8th, the buyback program received claims covering about 1/3 of the total CryptoZoo NFTs that were repurchased at the set buyback price of 0.1 ETH. The funds were officially dispersed on March 25th, 2024. Given ETH exchange rate that day, Paul was ultimately able to disperse over $1 million of his own money to buy back egg NFTs from the NFT holders who submitted a claim. And then they reiterate that Paul did not earn a single cent from CryptoZoo. In fact, he lost well over $1 million in the project. Yes, while
it comes down to he still promoted it, right? That does look bad on him any way you look at it, in my opinion. If I were to say promote a product that ended up either being a scam or ended up just not working, right? I feel that people have a right to be upset at me. Like, and I'm not talking about, well, you know, you promoted this razor, but they've never really worked for me. I like this. Like, that some things like that could be subjective. Like, if I were to, like, I don't know, get sponsored by some kind of like cool lamp, right? Like, oh, this lamp. But the lamp, like, it doesn't turn on. It gets to you. It's broken. It's a fire hazard because there's a known issue with the plugs and the electronics in it, and it just catches fire, right? I mean, kind of seems bad, right? Like, if that's the known thing, it's like, why did you partner with this? It's a big reputation hit, and it's just even weirder because of the 180s that he's done, right? Oh, well, Coffeezilla, I'll see you in court. And, oh, no, Coffeezilla, help me, you know, find who I am. I can reach self-actualization. This is my 3-step program. Doesn't actually do the 3-step program to completion, right? It's like, there's so much. And I feel that, like, literally this is an example of fix the damn situation, get off the pot, can do it, right? And you're done with it. And then at that point, people that go, oh, well, he did CryptoZoo. Yeah, I mean, he paid it back, right? Versus, yo, you're doing a lot of like Prime Energy Tour with KSI and stuff. What about this CryptoZoo thing that you said you were still doing things with? Well, you made a lot of money. You're saying you made like 30 million. That'd be kind of cool if some of that went to, you know, reimburse people like you said it was going to, right? Would be kind of cool, right? And I wonder if part of it is like he made some of these without actually consulting his legal team, like the one that went over exposing that person's expunged record. I wonder if that was made without his legal team's understanding or consent.
Logan didn't make any money on this project. He still acted extremely irresponsible with his brand by leading his audience straight to the slaughterhouse. But not only did he do that, he also created the slaughterhouse. Apparently not on purpose, but still, that doesn't really change the outcome, which is why I'm a little bit confused in why this lawsuit is happening in the first place. Paul brings this action to hold Finnison accountable for intentionally spreading falsehoods. Paul's early experience with the disastrous Japan episode taught him importance of humility and importance of accountability. That extends first to himself. While Paul only ever had good intentions with CryptoZoo, he worked hard to overcome the many challenges the project faced, not least of which were true bad actors who sabotaged the project for their own personal gain. Paul does not shy away from acknowledging that CryptoZoo was his brainchild, and that many individuals purchased NFTs in hope that they could participate in the community and the game that Paul had conceived. When the project failed, the egg NFT holders were left with a relatively valueless assets that could not be used for CryptoZoo gameplay. Paul did the right thing, at great financial loss to himself, to try to make a whole as many eligible holders as possible through the buyback program, as was his goal before Finnison's 3-part CryptoZoo series was released. You never publicly spoke about this until Coffee made his 3-part series. So the public,
and that's a big critique. You didn't talk about it or any of this until suddenly you need to fix this. Why are you promoting this scam coin, right? When it became an issue, suddenly he wants to talk about and discuss, and how his hands were tied and he couldn't discuss it, whether that's true or not. But you see how that looks from your average person, right? Oh, it has suddenly become an issue. You're now talking about it because it's an issue, because now you're annoyed by it.
He isn't really convinced that he was going to do anything about it until this series was released. But accountability must also extend to others involved in the CryptoZoo saga, whether voluntarily or involuntarily. That's why Paul has filed legal claims against Ibanez and Greenbaum for their deceptive and unethical conduct. With the buyback complete and the claims against Ibanez and Greenbaum being litigated, Paul now turns his attention to Finnison, who also needs to be held accountable for his actions. As set forth above, Paul was initially willing to turn the other cheek on Finnison's false and defamatory accusations that Paul scammed people with CryptoZoo. Despite the initial video series receiving millions of views and causing immense harm to Paul wanted to believe that Finnison was sincere in his professed desire to bring attention to members of the public who lost money trying to be a part of CryptoZoo. But Finnison's actions, even after Paul announced the buyback program, have conclusively demonstrated that Finnison claimed sympathies are a ruse. Like Ibanez and Greenbaum, Finnison is simply using CryptoZoo to personally profit via deception. He is doing so by knowingly intentionally making false claims about Paul, not in the service of any greater good, but simply in the service of making money and increasing his own profile.
The judge has to read this, right? Like, lawyers and judges are receiving these, right? We have I'm sure like Legal Eagle could probably do an entire video on this. Dude, we live in a timeline. Like, this is so odd to think about. Where did we go wrong as a species that this is even a thing? Like, this makes my head hurt. This is so dumb. Like, what? What? Oh, God. I would love to see the reactions to people and legal personnel that are receiving this. Just like, what the hell?
Actions have caused and continue to cause enormous harm to Paul and his reputation. The social media posts and YouTube videos that Finnison have posted since June of 2023, in which he continues to falsely accuse Paul of perpetuating a scam, have collectively been viewed by more than 15 million people. At this point, Paul has unfortunately concluded that Finnison will not stop this course of conduct unless he too is held accountable. I feel like Logan Paul's reputation was already really bad before the 3-part series.
Yeah.
Before the 3-part series, everyone still was looking at what happened to Dink Doink and what happened to CryptoZoo. If anything, Coffee actually helped hold the other people involved in CryptoZoo accountable, because we haven't heard of anyone else involved in this project until Coffee dropped his 3-part series. All right, so Logan's claims for relief. The first one is liable per se for the statements of June 29, 2023 X post. Paul repeats, realleges, and incorporates the above paragraphs as though fully set forth herein. On June 29, 2023, Finnison published a post on Coffeezilla account on the social media, formerly Twitter. The post stated, Logan Paul is really the type of dude to thank you when you expose a scam, then block you when you remind him to pay up. The post was
Man, he's really flaunting that prime energy there.
Published to a worldwide audience on X's platform. As of May of 2024, it has been viewed 6.5 million times. The post remains still available with this URL. A copy of the post, as it appears on X.com, is attached to Exhibit A. The June 20.
I don't know how that's done within a legal sense. I don't like that we've just put a link there, though. Why is that not in like why is not cited correctly? Like citation B, go to your works cited page. It's the full like name of the website, link, data posting. That feels lazy to me, but this could just be how legal formatting works. I'm used to, you know, papers like in high school and stuff, having your works cited, bibliography, stuff like that. This comes across as super lazy to me. Man, they're making money from Logan Paul.
The June 29, 2023 X post was intended to convey and was understood by readers of ordinary intelligence as conveying the factual accusations that Paul created CryptoZoo to engage in a financial scam, i.e. fraudulent financial conduct. The June 29, 2023 X post is falsely defamatory. The accusation that Paul operated a financial scam is one that tends to harm his reputation so as to lower him in the estimation of the community or to deter third persons from associating or dealing with him.
But that's fair though, right? If I'm associating with an organization or a product and that product ends up not working, right? Or I sell people a product that's, you know, defective or that, you know, is just overall just not quality. Yeah, people are going to be like, you know, Kip's kind of cool, but he promotes some weird jank. Like I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to take that risk. And then thus, when you see metrics start diving, the company just goes, well, you know, we don't really want to extend a partnership or a sponsorship to you because we're just not seeing the return on it. I think that's completely fair.
The June 29th post is libelous per se, that it tends to affect Paul in his profession or occupation, and accuses Paul of engaging in illegal conduct. By publication of the June 29, 2023 X post, Finnison caused harm to Paul's reputation. Finnison published, same date, with a reckless disregard for the truth, that he was aware of the time of publication that the statement was false, or at a minimum had a high degree of awareness that the statement was probably false. As a direct and proximate result of publication of the false and defamatory June post, Paul had suffered damages including injury to reputation, embarrassment, humiliation, emotional distress, and economic damages in the amount to be determined at trial.
Bro, he got upset. He got his little feelings hurt. Bro. Oh, man.
Okay, so second claim for relief is apparently for the video that we saw, Logan Paul's scam isn't over. Well, the prayer of relief saying, plaintiff Logan Paul respectfully requests the court to award him a relief against defendant as follows: actual and compensatory damages in excess of $75,000, as well as interest, reasonable attorney's fees, and costs as allowed by law.
Actually, that's interesting because I think Logan Paul allegedly has 5 lawyers working on this. That could artificially increase the cost incurred.
Damages as allowed by law, and such as other further relief as the court deems appropriate. Logan Paul demands a trial by jury for all claims and issues that are so trialable. Overall, I feel like this is going to cause a massive Streisand effect, because I feel like most people kind of forgot about the CryptoZoo situation. I feel like this is going to bring a lot more attention to CryptoZoo than what the original 3-part series created. But it's also important to note that the lawsuit isn't about the original 3 videos that Coffee made, even though so much of the lawsuit actually talked about those 3 videos, because as we read in the claims of relief, he's only suing for the most recent tweets and the 2 follow-up YouTube videos. This might be because the original videos could be past the statute of limitations in Texas, as he's being sued in Texas. And that also gives Coffee a massive advantage, as Texas has one of the strongest anti-slap laws. So the case could actually be thrown out right away. And sadly, the only reason I know about anti-slap laws and what states have really good anti-slap laws is because, you know, I was also sued for defamation. So hopefully Coffee gets through this as unscathed as I did. It's definitely,
I mean, realistically, with a lawyer and enough money, Logan Paul could take this video and sue Kip for defamation, calling him an idiot. Like, it's a wild world we live in. Like, and I get it, right? If you're trying to paint somebody as, well, this person just kicks puppies. What? Do you have anything to back that? Well, no, I'm just saying that. Okay, like, but you're causing harm with this with no citation? Okay, like, maybe we need to discuss this. Maybe we need to litigate on this, right? Like, it's also really weird because, yeah, a lot of people, I feel, did forget about CryptoZoo. It's one of those things that I, like, remember in the back of my brain, and, like, when Logan Paul comes up, it's like, nah, you did the forest incident, dink doink, CryptoZoo. But most people have moved on. The big thing right now is Dr. Disrespect. Most people have moved on from CryptoZoo. Unless this is some sort of like publicity stunt. Maybe he needs a boost to his numbers. The question I have to ask is why? Why now? Why is he doing this?
Definitely going to be interesting to see how this plays out, because it seems like Logan Paul has quite the uphill battle here, because it's not like CryptoZoo holders are super happy about their investments. And didn't Logan Paul himself say he was scammed in this project, meaning he promoted a project he got scammed in? Overall, though, it's a terrible situation. I hate it when YouTubers sue YouTubers, because it doesn't really help anyone here. I don't think this is going to help Logan Paul's reputation. Because let's be real here, when it comes to lawsuits, in most cases, the big winners are the lawyers themselves.
Yes.
So on that note, hopefully Coffee gets himself a solid legal team, and I'm very interested in seeing how he responds in his next video on this. Also, I feel like Coffee did a massive service to the CryptoZoo holders, because we didn't know any of this context until his 3-part series. I feel like his 3-part series was a great way to hold the people involved accountable. And while it does seem that Logan Paul was scammed here, I don't think the right move is to sue the person who's the little guy holding you accountable. In my head, that's just a terrible look. And you saw how that played out with my situation. So I can only imagine how this is going to play out, because this is probably going to be 10 times the size. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Yeah, it's a bad look. At the end of the day, it is a bad look on Logan Paul. To still be dealing with this, to still be... It comes across as a child throwing a tantrum because someone is not doing what he wants, is someone keeps pestering him, right? Like this comes across as somebody that's just throwing a temper tantrum. And at the end of the day, you know, I always worry, you know, am I being too controversial? Am I being positive enough? Am I being reasonable enough? Am I looping too much? At the end of the day, I feel like I am doing better than Logan Paul is. Kind of gives me hope that I'm not, you know, just just this niche idiot on the internet. But what are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on the situation? Did you completely forget about CryptoZoo until, you know, this happened? Let me know in the comments section down below. Thank you everyone for watching. And if you have not, definitely go check out Atozy. Down in the description down below, you will see a link to him and this original video as well. Definitely go ahead and support that. And I'll see you in the next one.